And where do you think that hunger for chasing money comes from?
Coming from a normal working class family, I think it was, I've got a very typical white family, if that makes sense. So like dad works in construction, sister does beauty, brother followed dad and went in construction, other brother followed dad and went in construction. For me, the cliche thing to go ahead and do there was to follow dad and go in construction. For me, it was, I never sat there and wanted to be a football player. That's a lie. Everyone wanted to be a football player. I did at one point, right? It'd be amazing if I was a professional goalkeeper, but I'm not. But it was always like I wanted to be a businessman. Yeah, I always told myself from young, imagine walking down the street and seeing your businesses or get to retirement knowing that you're leaving this massive legacy behind. I think the hunger just come from wanting to, like, I had my own money from very early. So I was like that. I grew up around friends that their mum and dads had money. So you go to the ice cream van and they're pulling out £10 notes. I was pulling out a £2 coin. No, my family weren't poor, but I had a normal family. If you want something, it comes in at occasion, birthday, Christmas. And that's when I remember when I got into reselling, and the boys that I was going and working for were like my friends' older brothers that had a lot of money, right? And I remember a pair of Huaraches come out, and every time I'd go to the release, I would just be wearing like normal shoes. It might be like the Adidas Velcros, what was popular then, right? And everyone had a pair of Huaraches on. I really, really wanted a pair. And I remember asking my mum and dad, I think I was like 16, please, look, can I get a pair? And they was like, no. And I remember sitting in my room thinking, we're poor. Like, we've got no money. Because I thought that was the norm.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. The norm is, why would my mum and dad go and buy me a £100 pair of shoes on a random day? Birthday or Christmas will come. So that's where the sort of hunger come from. I was around people that didn't have loads of money, but them going to an ice cream van with a £10 note, I thought they were absolutely rich. I wanted to be like them.
You know what? It's interesting to hear you say that. And I didn't actually know you had two brothers. I think I knew you had one.
Yeah. I've got an older brother and I've got a younger brother. Yeah.
That's interesting. And I also am a sibling of 5.
Yeah.
And you know one of my brothers. I've got two brothers and 2 sisters. And what I was going to ask you is, you all grew up in the same household, you and your brothers.
Yeah.
Your 2 brothers followed your dad and went into construction, but you took a completely different path. Even though you grew up in the same house, the same parents, the same environment, I always find it interesting how, and it's the same in my family, we all took different directions, even though we came from the same starting point.
Yeah.
Any idea why you think you were different to your brothers?
Do you know what it was? And I'll give credit to my older brother, right? Because he did put me on massively. So he was very involved from early. Like before I knew about trainers, he was importing trainers from the US. He was like one of the first to have see-through Air Force. Like ugliest things ever. They were like actually see-through.
I've never seen them, but I'm trying to picture them.
Yeah, bro. His trainer collection was insane.
Yeah.
And he was the first sort of like, I would be queuing up for shoes and he would be at the releases as well, but weren't flipping them. He was just buying them for his own collection.
Yeah.
And then he started to do a little bit of buying and selling. And I actually used to help him. So I helped him with his Depop account. And I've never actually spoke about this actually. So I think I was in year 7, year 8, because I remember nearly getting actually kicked out of school because I kept taking days off, but then I was sick. So I could run his Depop account for him. And then I literally, again, I had that hunger in me. I just took his business from what was like a personal Depop account to like, mate, I think we got to like 5,000 reviews on Depop. And I started to understand sort of like how to flip his used shoes at a premium and basically help him out. And then I then sort of grew my love for reselling. I sort of like took his Depop account to start to sell, and I actually paid him for his Depop account. I bought the Depop account off him for £500. So he kicks himself now because it could have been me and him.
Yeah.
Right. And I think from there is I knew I had a potential, and like I think it's funny because my mum and dad and everybody in my family be like, you're going to be the millionaire of the family. I actually won at prom in year 11. Who's most likely to become a millionaire?
No way.
Yeah, and I've got that award somewhere at home because in school, I've sold everything. Match Attack cards, sweets. I used to go to Tesco's, right, and buy donuts, muffins. We used to take them out the casing, throw a little bit of icing on them and say they were homemade and sell them for like £3 each. So I've always had some sort of idea, how can I make a flip?
Yeah.
But I think the different path would be, I don't know. Like my little brother asked me this the other day because he's very like me. Like, wants it.
You think he looks up to you?
Yeah, 100%. And he wants it. And he's in that phase now of like, slightly serious, not serious, wants to enjoy himself a little bit. Because I grew up fairly quick. And I was a little bit boring at his age. I look at him now and I go like, mate, you're having it large. Like, you're out and partying and all that. And I weren't partying at that age. I only started to party once I got ID, which was like 18.
Yeah.
And then I never really thought, I want to go out every weekend. I was thinking like, where can I build a business here? What can I do there? Where can I make a flip? Where can I go and do research? You know what I mean? On the podcast from early. I never read because I don't really like reading, but with him, if I had, like my older brother helped me, but my older brother was always like, he had girlfriends and he was out and he was like very popular. So it wasn't sort of like, and he didn't have a business. And I think if I was my little brother and had somebody like me, then I would be much better off than what I am now, because I will always guide my little brother. Like my little brother's also doing personal shopping.
Okay.
So I've given him like sort of like the pedestal. He does like the activewear stuff. And eventually, touch wood, he'll hopefully come out here, because for him, and this is like it's perfect, mate. As you know, UK is very glass ceiling. So yeah, that would be the ultimate goal.